all members of the committee except our chair is present. She's ill this evening. To start with, I will do the land acknowledgement. The township of Adjala-Tosorontio is situated on the lands of the Treaty 18, being a traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg peoples, including the Ojibwe, Adabwe, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. This land is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge Indigenous people as stewards of the land, and we honor their resilience as well as their culture and our shared respect for the lands, plants, animals, and waterways which sustain us all. We recognize the injustice against Indigenous people and are mindful that the decisions of government impact our shared land and all the inhabitants. We commit to reconciliation as a journey, foster Indigenous culture awareness and education opportunities, establish respectful and healthy relationships with Indigenous peoples, continues to steward the land and its inhabitants, and to cultivate an inclusive community for all. The purpose of this evening's hearing is to consider applications listed on the agenda requesting a consent or minor variance for the township zoning bylaw. The input we received from agencies, the public, and staff is important to ensure the committee makes well-informed planning decisions. For each application listed on today's agenda, the hearing procedures will be as follows. Staff will provide a brief explanation of the application. The applicant or their applicant or their agent will be asked to provide any comments. Comments from members of the public will be heard or read aloud by the Secretary-Treasurer. Following all submissions, the committee will consider all comments and agenda materials when making a decision on an application. Should you wish to be notified of the decision, you must file a written request with the Secretary-Treasurer. So the next part of our agenda, we have adoption of the agenda. 2.1, the recommendation reads that the agenda of the Committee of Adjustment hearing held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 be adopted as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Julius. A seconder? Thanks, Ron. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Item number 3, disclosure of pecuniary interests. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, adoption of the minutes. The adoption of minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting March 18th, 2026 to be adopted as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Ron. Seconder, Horace, thank you. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. We will now move on to application A0426. Would staff like to provide a brief explanation of this application?
Thank you, Chair. The committee is considering minor variance application A0426 for an existing 160 square feet shipping container shed located in the front yard at a 12-meter setback, where the zoning bylaw requires accessory structures to be in the side or the rear yard with a 20-meter setback. Circulation was completed under the Planning Act with no objection from technical agencies. NVCA requires a retroactive permit, and building services noted no building code concerns. One public submission opposed to the request, citing visual impact and rural character, was received. A site visit identified topography, septic setbacks, and access limitations that restrict relocation options, with some vegetation providing screening. If the committee approves the application, staff recommend a condition that relief apply only to the existing structure as shown on the submitted plans and not owned to any future accessory building or structures. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the applicant or agent like to provide any comments to this application? Good evening.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. I'm Tony Remig. I'm the property owner, the newly acquired 557 Concession Road 2. I guess what we kind of inherited the situation. So it was presented to us upon well, we actually were given a little bit of an instruction on this. It was a open permit that was supposed to be cleared when we purchased the home. And when that was not the case, we were informed that these were the problems that were existing with the shed. The sheds there that presently is there is kind of mounted inside of the building into the ground and is difficult to move without any heavy lift. The idea behind it, and we're looking and seeking for relief from this, is because of the consequences behind it. And the issue, of course, is we've kind of inherited the problems that existed. So it was not really our doing, it was the previous owner's doing. And I believe the shed at that time was used as a storage shed for building materials as the property was being built. And then they converted it over to a storage shed, and they put like a cladding and made it look presentable, so it doesn't have an unappealing front kind of display. It also has a side entry door and windows on it to, I guess, finish the decor look to it. It's actually nice. It's a nice shed. It's not looking negative, and because there's basically a wall of trees in front of it, there's no real sight or unsightly look upon it. And it's, again, it's been cladded properly, or it looks very similar to the home that's in front of it. So the relief we're seeking for is to obviously get that sorted out, and hopefully we can close this permit, because that was the initial problems altogether. That's pretty much all I have for this, unless anyone has a question for me.
I'm just going to ask the audience, is there anybody in the audience that would like to ask any questions with regards to this application? Seeing none. Anybody? Ron?
This shed, the shed is at the southwest corner of your property, right? So
Yes.
it's not blocking any access to the house or anything. It's kind of off to
Yes,
the
it's
side.
offset, so it's approximately between about 50 to 75 meters back, but beside the actual main entryway, and kind of hidden into the wood line.
All right, thank you.
Julius?
No, we've had discussion.
Yeah.
Horace? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, members.
Okay, we'll now move on to decision for application A. Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. There is one written submission was received from Andrew Clough, 17 Margaret Avenue, expressing opposition to the request. The commenter indicated concern with the placement of shipping container in the front yard of the property, noting that lot is large and suggesting the structure should be located towards the rear. The submission further expressed concern regarding the visual impact on the area and indicated that zoning bylaw should be upheld. Thank you.
Okay. We will now move on to a decision for application A04-26. Prior to conducting a vote, I'll read the decision for committee consideration. In the matter of subsection 45(1) of the Planning Act, and in the matter of Plan 51M274 BLK 18 in the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio, County of Simcoe, and the matter of the application of Catherine Bull as owners of a said Ford land for a minor variance under the Planning Act. And whereas the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio's Committee of Adjustment, having conferred with all applicable agencies and persons as prescribed by the Planning Act, and having had regard to permit an accessory structure within the front yard and to permit a reduced front yard setback of approximately 12 meters, whereas Section 3.4E2 of the zoning bylaw number 03-57 prohibits accessory structures in the front yard, and the rural zone requires a minimum front yard setback of 20 meters. B. Okay, so can we have a motion? Motion to carry? Can I have a seconder? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We will now move on to application A-0626. Kratip, would you please provide an explanation of the application?
Thank you, Chair. The committee is considering minor variance application A0626 to permit a proposed agricultural equipment storage building to be located in the front yard, where section 4.34 of zoning bylaw 0357 requires agriculture structures to be behind the dwelling unless a 100-meter setback is met. The proposed building exceeds all setback requirements, but it is not behind the house due to the corner lot, front lot line definitions issues. Circulation was completed under Planning Act, and no objections were received from agencies, internal departments. NVC and Public Works have no concern, and Building Services notes that a building permit will be required following planning approval. The structure is part of the existing farm cluster, maintains agricultural operations, and is situated on previously disturbed area with access from the established farm entrance. If the application is approved, staff recommend a condition that the relief apply only to proposed agricultural structure as shown on the submitted plans and not to any future agricultural building or structures. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirti. Would the applicant like to add any further comments? No, you're okay? Thanks. Any members of the public like to ask any questions with regards to this application? Seeing none, we'll start with the committee. Ron?
I just have one question. Where is it exactly on 30 Side Road? Between the 4th and the 5th, or
Between the second and the third.
the 2nd and the 3rd?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, on the south side,
North side,
north side?
north side,
North side of 30th, right at
Yeah.
the 2nd. 30th and the 2nd, it's right on the north side.
That's the second.
Okay.
and it's not, I think it's clear, it's not actually in my front yard, it's got a side yard. I don't know how that rule gets. I'm sure there's some neighbors raising their eyebrow as to why I would build it there, but that's not the case, it's in the side. Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? Kurtjeep, any written concerns?
Thank you, Chair. There was one public comment received from Judy White from 4742 Concession Road 2. Judy submitted written comment expressing concern that the proposed agriculture structure may result in additional driveway entrances on both Concession Road 2 and 30th Side Road. She is concerned about potential increase in traffic, frequency of vehicle use, and associated impacts such as noise, dust, and road wear. She requested clarification on these matters and asked that her concerns be considered as part of the application review. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other driveway wanting to be put in, correct?
No,
No.
there's already an existing one at the top
of the hill,
but that's not, we walked over.
Oh, walked over there, yeah.
That one through the
Field, yeah.
I understand the concerns, but
There- There's no more traffic coming and going either. No.
Well, you'd have to have an application for another.
The driveway, yeah, yeah. Okay, we will now move on to the decision for application A0626. Prior to concluding the vote, I'll read the decision for the committee consideration. In the matter of subsection 45 -1 of the Planning Act, and in the matter of concession 2, West Part Lot 31 in the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio, County of Simcoe, and in the matter of the application of Alex McKenzie as owners of the said Ford land for a minor variance under the Planning Act. And whereas the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio's Committee of Adjustment, having conferred with all applicable agencies and persons as prescribed by the Planning Act, and having had regard to those matters prescribed in the Planning Act, has decided that the request to permit an agricultural structure to be located within the front yard, whereas the zoning bylaw number 20-31, amending zoning bylaw number 03-57 requires agricultural structures to be located behind the dwelling or accompanying within a minimum 100-meter setback from the front and exterior lot lines, whichever is more restrictive. Can we have a mover now to accept this application? Thank you, Ron. Seconder, Horace, thank you. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. And now we'll move on to application A0726. Karteep, would you please provide an explanation of application A0726?
Thank you, Chair. The committee is considering minor variance application A0726 to permit a two-story accessory structure with a height of 7.3 meters and total floor area of approximately 111.5 meters square, whereas the zoning bylaw limits accessory buildings over 75 meters square to one story and requires them to remain lower than primary dwelling. Circulation was completed under the Planning Act and no objections were received from agencies, internal departments, or the public. NVCA has no concerns. Building Services notes that a building permit will be required following planning approvals. The applicants propose a 3-car garage with a storage above, with a second story used strictly for non-habitable storage, and the submitted natural heritage evaluation confirms no negative impacts to natural features, with mitigation measures recommended. The structure is well set back from the road, screened by vegetation, and located within an existing disturbed residential envelope, minimizing visual and environmental impacts. If the application is approved, staff recommend conditions ensuring the development proceeds as shown on the submitted plans, remains for storage use with no habitable space, and implements the required environmental mitigation measures. Thank you.
Thank you, Karteep. Is there any, would the applicant or agent like to come up and...
Hello, hi, this is Donya Abbasi. I'm virtual. Hello,
Hi,
can you hear me?
we can hear you, we just can't
Okay.
see you, sorry.
No, my camera is off, like it's not working. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I have to attend today virtual. I'm sorry about to not be in person.
Okay, welcome. Did
Thank you
wanna
very
add-
much.
Did you want to add anything to Karteep's explanation?
No, to be honest, it was full, but just wanna, if it's need, I can share my screen to show you all about all the case study we found it from our neighbors, that this proposal is considered as a kind of 3-car garage on the main floor with the storage above, and the second floor is proposed strictly for storage purpose only. And there's no residential component proposed, no kitchen facility, no plumbing, and no habitable space. And the proposal is situated on a very large rural property of approximately 48,000 square meter with significant separation distance from the surrounding properties and building. Regarding the forecast, the second story is intended solely for the storage, reducing the need for the additional accessory building on the property. The overall massing and design of the structure will remain compatible with the rural character of the area, no adverse impact on the anticipate of the neighbors, and the proposal maintain the general intent, the purpose of the both zoning bylaw and official plan. Importantly, the owner have also received positive support from the neighbors' residents, including neighbors across the street. And lastly, the owner would also like to note that there are existing properties within the surrounding area that appears to have similar development characters and build forms. Like you can show up the pictures in 2-3 slides about those property address.
Okay, thank you.
Who's behind the house?
Is there any members of the public that would like to ask any questions to this application? Karteep, did we receive any written concerns from the public?
No comments were received.
No comments? It's kind of beside the house. It's up on the top of the hill. Horace, do you have any questions with regards to this application? No. Julius?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, I looked at the drawings earlier and I was, they're just somewhat a little confusing, but.
The original house structure is a low bungalow, so it's not a very high structure itself.
But, sorry. I guess it's stated that the additional structure will not exceed the height of the house?
It will exceed, that's part of, yeah, that's part of the, it's gonna be 2-story, yeah,
Garage.
and storage above.
Yeah, like I said, I looked at it, it was just a little confusing. And the pool is there already?
Yeah, existing,
Yes.
yeah,
Behind the pool, too.
yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't encroach on the property line?
No, no.
Yeah,
Ron?
I get no problem.
Okay. We will now move on to a decision of application A0726. Prior to conducting the vote, I will read the consideration for the committee to consider, the decision, sorry. In the matter of subsection 45(1) of the Planning Act, and in the matter of concession to West Part Lot 5 in the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio, County of Simcoe, and in the matter of the application of Tim and Laura Agnew as owners of the said land for a minor variance under the Planning Act. And whereas the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio's Committee of Adjustment, having conferred with all applicable agencies and persons as prescribed by the Planning Act, and having had regard to those matters prescribed in the Planning Act, has decided that the request to permit an auxiliary structure with a height of 7.3 meters, exceeding the height of the primary dwelling, and a total floor area of approximately 111.5 square meters in a two-story form, whereas the zoning bylaw number 21-15, amending zoning bylaw number 03-56, requires an accessory structure not to exceed the height of the primary dwelling and permit those greater than 75 meters to one story be carried. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Ron. Seconder, Julius. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
To the voice in the sky. You're all set. And now we'll move on to application A0826. Kartik, would you provide a brief explanation of application A0826?
Thank you, Chair. The committee is considering consent application B0226 and minor variance application A0826 for a lot line adjustment between 5791 and 5889 Concession Road 3, involving the transfer of approximately 11.7 hectares of agricultural land to better align parcel boundaries with existing field conditions and natural features. The adjustment does not create a new lot and has been reviewed as a legal and technical consent under the Planning Act, the PPS, County Official Plan, and Township's Official Plan, all of which support boundary adjustment that improve agricultural viability. Agency circulation has identified no objections, including from NVCA, County, Building Services, and no public comments were received. The associated variance is required to recognize a reduced lot area of approximately 22.1 hectares for the retained parcel, which will continue to function as a viable agricultural holding. If approved, staff recommends standard consent conditions, including financial clearance, submission of draft reference plan, provision of registrable description, and fulfillment of all conditions within 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Kartik. Would the applicant or agent like to provide any comments regarding this application? Good evening.
Good evening to the chair, members of the committee, and members of the public. My name is Tyler Kwall, planner with MHBC Planning, here on behalf of the applicants for their consent and minor variance applications for the lands located at 5791 and 889 Concession Road 3. I do have a brief presentation that I see is pulled up here, so I'll be fairly quick with it. It's a fairly straightforward application. If we could go to the next slide, please. Oh, perfect, thanks. The subject lands comprise predominantly agricultural parcels, outlined in red in the image shown on that slide. The bottom parcel is municipally addressed, as you can see on the image, as 5791 Concession Road 3. It is owned by our client, and it currently features an area of approximately 65.5 hectares and a total frontage of 537 meters on Concession Road 3. The neighboring parcel located immediately to the north is municipally addressed as 5889 Concession Road 3. It currently features an area of approximately 33.8 hectares and a total frontage of 562 meters on Concession Road 3. As you can see in the image there, that northern parcel, 5889, it's bisected by a woodlot and a watercourse, predominantly in an east-west direction that kind of bisects the top half of the parcel, which is a farm field, with the southern half of the parcel, which is also a farm field. Essentially, as Kartik mentioned, our clients, which own, again, 5791, They are intending to purchase and acquire from the owner of 5889 the southernmost agricultural parcel. So that lands that they would be acquiring from 5889 are highlighted in the image in yellow on that slide. And that amount of land comprises 11.7 hectares. And again, that 11.7 hectares would then merge with 5791 as a result of the consent. To facilitate the transfer of lands as shown in this sketch, a consent application is required to carry out a boundary adjustment between the two parcels. As a result of the transfer of approximately 11.7 hectares of land, the benefiting parcel at 5791 Concession Road 3 would increase in size to approximately 77.2 hectares, with approximately 567 meters of frontage as outlined in green. So following the consent approval, what you see outlined in green would comprise the entirety of the benefiting parcel when it's done. And then following that same consent and boundary adjustment, the land holdings outlined in red would be the remaining or retained lot from the neighbor. The retained parcel at 5889 Concession Road 3, again outlined in red on that image, would be reduced in size to approximately 22 hectares with approximately 406 meters of frontage. Next slide, please. Both parcels are predominantly zoned agricultural in the township's comprehensive zoning bylaw 03-57. The agricultural zone does require a minimum lot area of 36 hectares for agricultural uses. With a resulting lot area of approximately 22 hectares, the retained parcel at 5889 Concession Road 3 would not meet the minimum 36 hectare lot area requirement. As such, a minor variance application would also be required, such as submitted, which seeks to permit a minimum lot area of 22 hectares for the retained parcel. Next slide, please. Section 45(1) of the Planning Act does establish 4 tests, as I know you are aware, for the committee to consider when reviewing minor variance applications. In a review of the proposal, we do believe the proposed minor variance meets the 4 tests in that it maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan as well as the township zoning bylaw. It is desirable and appropriate for the use of the severed and retained parcels. And finally, we do believe it is minor in nature. Next slide, please. So in summary, the proposed lot reconfiguration involves the consolidation of 2 neighboring farm fields and no new lot is being created. The consent application would facilitate an agricultural consolidation in the form of a minor boundary adjustment. The proposed boundary adjustment considers existing natural separations between the fields and would support the agricultural land base and agricultural economy without any changes to the area's rural character. It's important to note this is merely a lot line adjustment and there's no development proposed. We believe that the 4 tests of a minor variance are met as mentioned on the previous slide and that both applications represent good planning in the public interest and should be approved. As I wrap up here, I should note that we've reviewed the staff report. We do see that they are recommending approval. Appreciate that. We have also reviewed the conditions. They do appear standard to us, and we don't have any concerns with those conditions. So that does conclude my presentation. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public that would like to ask any questions? Seeing none. Kharteep, did we receive any written applications?
No comments were
No
received.
comments? Any questions from members of the committee? No. Seeing none, we will move on. Okay, in the matter of subsection 45-1 of the Planning Act, and in the matter of concession 3, West Part Lot 9 of the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio, County of Simcoe, and in the matter of the application of H.J. Vanderzeg Farms Incorporated, care of Harrison Garrett Vanderzeg as applicant for a minor variance 826 under the Planning Act. And whereas the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio's Committee of Adjustment, having conferred with all applicable agencies and persons as prescribed by the Planning Act, and having had regard to those matters prescribed in the Planning Act, has decided that the request to permit a reduced lot area of approximately 22.1 hectares for the retained parcel of 889 Concession Road 3, whereas the minimum of 36 hectares is required in the agricultural zone, be carried. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Julius. Ron, seconder. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. And now we'll move on to application B0226. Staff, would you like to provide a brief explanation of B0226?
Thank you, Chair. It's the concurrent application. It's the same boundary adjustment application, and it's the same explanation. Thank you.
Okay, again, is any member of the public would like to ask any questions? Seeing none. Any written comments, Kartik?
No comments were received.
Any questions from Julius?
Just a general question. So with the reduction to 22.1 hectares, that existing farm still is zoned agricultural, remains zoned agricultural?
Through Chair, that yes, the existing zoning will retained, and it will both the lots will be agricultural A zone, prime ag areas. Yeah, thank you.
No other questions from the committee? In the matter of Section 53 of the Planning Act, and in the matter of Concession 3, Part Lot 8, and Concession 3, West Part Lot 9, in the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio, County of Simcoe, and in the matter of the applicant H.J. Vanderzeg Farms Incorporated, care of Harrison Garrett Vanderzeg, as applicant for consent boundary line adjustment under the Planning Act. And whereas the Township of Adjala-Tosorontio's Committee of Adjustment, having conferred with all applicable agencies and persons as prescribed by the Planning Act, and having had regard to those matters prescribed in the Planning Act, has decided that the request to permit a lot line adjustment between 589 and 5791 Concession Road 3, resulting in the transfer of approximately 11.7 hectares, 29 acres of agricultural land from 5889 Concession Road 3 and the adjacent parcel at 5791 Concession Road 3B carried. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Julius. Thank you, Ron, for seconder. Any questions? Seeing no questions, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, item number 6, to adjourn the meeting. I now declare the meeting adjourned at 6:33. Do we need a mover? And a seconder to Ron and Horace. All those in favor? Carried.